The next strategy that we covered was a multiplication strategy as well, where it's repeated addition. Now, I know we all knew this one. I remember this one back from when I was in school, so hopefully you do too. Basically, we took the same type of problem, 4 groups of 3, and to find how many in all. We can still use the equal groups to represent the problem, and I did ask the students to do that to kind of help themselves in being able to write the addition sentence that goes along with our equal groups. And so when we had 4 groups of 3, we take the number that is on the inside and add it, the same number of groups we have, to get our product here, our answer. And then I asked the students to go ahead and write a multiplication sentence to match their addition sentence. And so we have 4 groups of 3, so we have 4 times 3 would equal 12. We also discussed what these numbers were called within a multiplication problem. The 2 numbers that we multiply together are our factors, and our answer is now called a product when we're multiplying. We did talk about the fact that when we add, these 2 numbers would be called add-ins, and that this answer, whatever it would be called a sum, and kind of equated them that way. So your students should know these words when they see them. Something that we did in class, we talked about as we did these, even with the 4 times 3 equals 12, sometimes they were given just the repeated addition. So they would see 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals blank. And so when they had to take this and make it into a multiplication sentence, they were getting a little confused. And so I did talk about going ahead and making it look like groups, so they could see this was a group, this was a group, this was a group. How many groups do you have? You have 4 groups. What's in each group? You have 3 in each group to get to your answer. And then, of course, they would just add these together. Something I saw one of the kids doing, which is a really good strategy for this type of thing as well, is simply adding this plus and this, and then adding those 2 together to get to their answer. Or 3 plus 3 more is 6, plus 3 more is 9, plus 3 more is 12. So we've talked our way through those as well. There shouldn't have been too many weird ones on this. We do get into some things later that are a little weird for the kids. Probably the hardest thing they had is recognizing that each one of these would be a group at that point. I did also tell them that they could take and draw these out. 1, 2, 3, and put a circle around it. And then 1, 2, 3, and put a circle around it. 1, 2, 3, and put a circle around it to help remind them that those are the groups and that we're going to find an answer here by adding these groups up, maybe even skip counting them to get to the answer. Those are a couple other little ways that you might be able to help them kind of see this and get to these answers. Simply, when we were in school, we were told about, I recall being told about multiplication being called repeated addition. And so it's when you take and repeat one of the numbers the amount of times of the other number. And so this one was something that I recalled the students, I think they found it kind of weird that we would add this many numbers this many times, but I did tell them that this is a shortcut to that. And so this was a strategy to find your answer, so that when you came across a larger problem, such as 5 times 7, you could say, okay, I've got 5 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7 in each group, so I'm going to add those together, and I'll get my answer of 35. And so that was something I kind of showed the kids that they could do to kind of get themselves accustomed to. Hey, that's a quick strategy I could use real quick on a test or something like that. Maybe not a timed test, but necessarily on a time test necessarily, but also they could use this on like a test they might be taking for benchmark or for me or something like that. And so this would be a good way to kind of quickly solve that if they were stumped on what 5 times 7 was. Hope this was helpful. If not, give me a little email and we will get to the bottom of it. Tell me what your kid had the most problem on, and I will make sure I hit that again before the test that we're going to take on the skills, where they'll get to use their notebook as well. Thanks.